then do these inseparable components talk to one another? What language do they speak? Candace Pert, a neuroscientist formerly with the National Institute of Mental Health, has mapped the chemicals which she believes may carry the messages, the neuropeptides. Now, what is a neuropeptide?
Peptides are strings of amino acids strung together very much like pearls strung along in a necklace. And a neuropeptide is a peptide that was first found in the brain, but then later on we found that they were everywhere, and that these molecules are being released from one place, they're diffusing, they're binding, and they're tickling these receptors that are on the surface of cells. Every cell in your body is encrusted with receptors of various types.
Like a satellite dish that's receiving a signal.
Facing outward like a satellite dish and receiving, putting out their little antenna and receiving what's coming in. Everything in your body as it's running is being run by these messenger molecules.
What do you mean by that?
Well, the cells have to talk to each other, otherwise the whole organism can't hang together. And the cells have to talk. Now, I guess you're going to ask me what they talk about.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, what do they talk about?
It might just be make a little more of this protein, or make a little less of that protein, or these cells stop dividing because we've got to put our energy into digestion. In a way, one way to think of the neuropeptides as we've come to think of them as directing where the body should pay attention, where the body should put its energy. Lay down and relax so you can digest your food, man, or you're going to die. That kind of message. But of course, on a cellular level, there's hundreds of scientists who've mapped where these molecules are and found them in the various parts of the body. After years of studying these various peptides and studying how they were distributed and their characteristics, we came to hypothesize that these were the biochemicals of emotion.
Biochemicals?
The biochemicals of emotion. We were nervous to call them that, and it took us 15 years of research before we dared to call them that, but they were found in the parts of the brain that mediated emotion. They control the opening and closing of your blood vessels in your face and the flushes of emotion. They get released during various kinds of emotional states. We wanted to make some kind of sense out of all of this data.
Are you saying that the mind talks to the body, so to speak, through these neuropeptides?
Why are you making the mind outside of the body?
That's the way I was raised.
That's because you're part of Western civilization.
I mean, I was taught that the mind is somehow distinct from the body. It's something in here, in the brain.
Well, that just all goes back to a turf deal that Descartes made with the Roman Catholic Church, and he got to study science as we know it and left the soul and the mind and consciousness and emotions in the other realm. That was the realm of the church. Remember, I'm a scientist in the Western tradition, and I don't use the word spirit. I'm not allowed, soul is a four-letter word in our tradition. The deal was struck with Descartes. We don't invoke that stuff.
The brain is talking to me unconsciously, or instantly, through this reaction in the receptor.
The me that you say is me, you're still thinking it's your brain. The me that's you is your whole body.
So that the intelligence is...
It's the wisdom of the body. The intelligence is in every cell of your body. The mind is not confined to the space above the neck. The mind is throughout the brain and body.
Brain, when it fires its thoughts, is likened unto the landscape of a thundercloud. And the synaptic cleft is the sky between the storm and the earth receptor site. And you see this foreboding dark cloud boiling in the sky. And you see electrical impulses moving through it, veins of electric light, and then you see it hit the ground. The brain looks like a thunderstorm when it is presenting a coherent thought. So no one has ever seen the thought. What they do see in neurophysics is that they see a storm raging around different quadrants of the brain. Those are areas that are mapped in the body and what the person must be responding to. A holographic image. Rage, murder, hate, compassion, love.
The brain does not know the difference between what it sees in its environment and what it remembers, because the same specific neural nets are then firing. The brain is made up of tiny nerve cells called neurons. These neurons have tiny branches that reach out and connect to other neurons to form a neural net. Each place where they connect is integrated into a thought or a memory. Now, the brain builds up all its concepts by the law of associative memory. For example, ideas, thoughts, and feelings are all constructed and interconnected in this neural net, and all have a possible relationship with one another. The concept and the feeling of love, for instance, is stored in this vast neural net.
The most sophisticated pharmacy in the universe is in here.
There's a part of the brain called the hypothalamus. And the hypothalamus is like a little mini factory, and it is a place that assembles certain chemicals that matches certain emotions that we experience. Those particular chemicals are called peptides. They're small chain amino acid sequences. The body's basically a carbon unit that makes about 20 different amino acids all together to formulate its physical structure. The body is a protein-producing machine. In the hypothalamus, we take small chain proteins called peptides. And when it makes it into the bloodstream, it finds its way to different centers or different parts of the body. Now, every single cell in the body has these receptors on the outside.
And one cell can have thousands of receptors studying its surface, kind of opening up to the outside world. And when a peptide docks on a cell, it literally, like a key going into a lock, sits on the receptor surface and attaches to it and kind of moves the receptor, and kind of like a doorbell buzzing, sends a signal into the cell.
I studied biochemistry at Rutgers University, and then went to chiropractic college at Life University in Atlanta, Georgia. My postgraduate training is in anatomy and physiology, neurochemistry, neurophysiology, and genetics.
After my PhD from Harvard, I went to CERN, the European Laboratory for Particle Research, and then joined faculty at Stanford. And my work there has been the development of unified quantum field theories. I have about 100 publications in this area, but perhaps I'm best known for the discovery of supersymmetric flipped SU5 grand unified field theory.
Well, my name is Candace Pert, and I'm a professor at Georgetown in the medical school.